Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Sprint. This is your afternoon and evening break from that heavy news cycle where we're talking about all the stories that you guys want to talk about, things that'll make you smile, things that make you feel good about your community, and some crazy stuff that is happening all around our country. One of those being, which I think is kind of a funny story, so we had to talk about it today. Get this. What happens if you give a bull a banana? Yeah. We got the crazy story about these big mama dramas coming up later on in the Sprint, and how police had to wrangle these jokers out of somebody's yard because they were feeding them too much. We got that story and so much more coming up later on in the Sprint. But first and foremost, I know you guys have been seeing this crazy, crazy scene that has gone all around online, but the moment where the camera, because you know how sometimes you go to church and you got people that do the live feeds and all that stuff, somebody decided they just want to pull a gun on a pastor. So if you guys look at your screen right now, yeah, Homeskillet Biscuit just walked up, pointed a full gun, loaded and ready to go at the pastor while he's in the middle of a sermon. Fortunately, they wrestled him down to the ground, was able to take the gun from him, and then was able to hold him down until police got there. But this dude right here, his name is Bernard Polite. He is 26 years old, and get this, unfortunately, police did also find a dead body in his home. So, yeah, we're still trying to figure out what all went into this investigation, but I was looking at some of the interview clips with the pastor and what he was saying. He was just like, he asked him, like, why did you do that? And the guy was just simply saying, I don't know. So I don't know if there was something that just wasn't clicking with him and you know, mentally or what. Like, you could just tell in his face that he was just like, yeah, he just put it all out on the line right there. But thank God the gun didn't go off. Thank God nobody was hurt in the situation. And thank God that everybody took the matters that they needed to take appropriately to protect the whole congregation. Because, again, this was like a full sermon going on. So, yeah, crazy story right there. We're going to be following up on this to see exactly what went down. And obviously the investigation into the dead body that was found in his house. Figured out the latest with that. But at this time, Pastor and them, they're still trucking along. And again, thanking God that they are able to live to tell the tale today, which again, I'm pretty sure would just been very disturbing for everybody in that congregation to see something if it would have gone super south. But they were able to stop it in time. So yeah, that was going around. A lot of people revved up a lot of people. But again, a lot of people, you know, as believers believe that angels were wrapped around that pastor. Angels definitely, you know, God was just like, yo, not today. We're not doing anything super crazy. And if anything, if this is a cry out for help, I pray that he gets the necessary help that he needs because it's obvious that he's going through something. And speaking of health, I know it's Mental Health Awareness Month, but it's a hot topic on the college campuses as well. And no, I'm not talking about all the messes going on with Gaza and all that stuff, even though I think that I think there are some type of mental health situations that are happening that's making people feel like they're doing something, you know, correct. Either way, we all know how when the pandemic hit, all of us was hit in some form or fashion with mental health, but especially college kids. And there's a new research study that came out that shows that more than 80% of college students say that they're struggling emotionally, and that's why students at Virginia Tech are taking the initiative. So here's the situation from Jilly Riccio. She lost her close friend Jamison to suicide in high school. She started Safe Club at Virginia Tech, aiming to speak openly about suicide and mental health. And then they meet and discuss resources, how to talk with people about feelings of suicide, so much more.
When you hear a student that has gone through something similar as you or can relate to you, because then you just really do feel less alone. And when you realize that there's a club, there's a whole community where you could go to, and you don't really even have to say anything, but you just have them there. I think that's so important.
So another new organization on campus is the Clear Minds Project. They're working to connect students with mental health resources and break down barriers that keep people from accessing them. So yeah, just another tool in our toolbox to try to help crack down on the mental health issues and struggles that we are dealing with and what we see today, especially with our young people. And yeah, you know, a lot of us as young people, you know, college kids, you make mistakes. You make some silly decisions sometimes. And sometimes you are focusing in on the things that you think will bring you satisfaction when it doesn't. For example, social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You know, everybody's trying to keep up with the trends. Everybody's trying to keep up with trying to be get the likes and all all that stuff. And, when I was in college and growing up, yeah, it was a struggle, but it was never nearly as much of a struggle as what I see is happening nowadays, where every time you turn around, somebody is taking medicine, somebody's in therapy. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it does prove to show that there is something going on that's making, again, 80% of our students saying that they're struggling. Like, can we just get at least one happy student? You know what I'm saying? And it's sad to see that. But I'm glad that there are students out there that are taking the initiative to help others overcome that. And, how I always say, with the devil meant for bad, God meant for good. And unfortunately, this woman's, her friend who passed away from suicide, she's using that testimony as a way to help others, overcome that stigma and to, get out of that rut and know that, hey, you are not alone. We're in this together. And, hey, we're going to struggle together, but we are not going to end it, So either way, shout out to them doing what they can to raise awareness about, again, college campus mental health. It is definitely something that is going around right now like a sickness. And I just pray that, our kids find better outlets and avenues to, feel like they're worth something or feel more than what they think society is clocking them at. So, yeah, that's the story to check out. Look at our website at WSLS.com. Deadly crashes often can be prevented by buckling up, and you guys have all seen the Click It or Ticket campaign. This is essentially there to help you understand that, your chances of being ejected from a car without a seatbelt on so much higher than what they are when you have a seatbelt on. So either way, if you're driving around this month, you're going to notice more police on patrol. And while you can't get pulled over in Virginia for not wearing a seatbelt, you can get a ticket for not having it on after they pull you over.
That officer can make the stop based on the speeding infraction, and in lieu of possibly giving that speeding violation, they could say, I'm going to write you for this seatbelt, because that could save your life just as much as the speeding ticket could.
So police also add that it's very important for parents to set the example of always buckling up, which is a big deal. So, like, again, if you practice bad habits, if you don't have your seatbelt on, then that might go down the run, and your kids might think that, yeah, I ain't got to wear a seatbelt. I am guilty about not wearing a seatbelt when I'm in the back seat, but if I'm in the front seat, it is so hard for me not to wear a seatbelt because I just feel exposed, like I feel like there's something missing, So either way, just make it a habit to put a seatbelt on at all times. I don't care how cool you're trying to look behind the wheel of a car. That stuff that can potentially save your life big time in the long run. And even though it might cause a bruise, like, for example, I know some people, get bruised up really bad if they get in a wreck. I got in a wreck one time, and literally I was safe. I didn't go through the windshield. I didn't get damaged anywhere here, but I had a bruise that went across my chest, which, I will welcome that any day over, again, being ejected from a vehicle. So Click It or Ticket. Understand that if you get pulled over in Virginia for doing something you got no business doing, and you got the seatbelt on, and that's added to your ticket, don't be all salty about it, because we're warning you, put your seatbelt on. All right. So we all know that the weather's been a little funky here lately, especially over in Oklahoma and Tennessee. Tornadoes and damage and all that stuff is taking place. Well, with all that happening, our Danville-based nonprofit, God's Pit Crew, always stepping in to try to help figure out how they can help. So they're actually going to Texas right now to help with the victims of the deadly flooding. The disaster response team will bring everything from dehumidifiers and generators to blessing buckets with food, water, hygiene items, and handwritten notes of encouragement. If you want to help, of course, we got a link on our website at WSLS.com to figure out how you can contribute to their mission and their resources to where they can try to help more people. So shout out to them for always being on the lookout for the different disasters that are happening around our country, taking your boots on the ground from here on a local level all around our country, and all around the world as well. So shout out to God's Pit Crew, always doing it big. I absolutely love this organization because, again, you're putting other people's lives before yours, you're getting thousands of blessing buckets together. That's a lot of work. So if you guys can figure out how you can contribute to their mission, go to our website at WSLS.com. Speaking of the weather, we got to get right into it. Tuesday, we're looking not as gloomy and crazy as yesterday was. I don't know about you guys, but it was a bit rowdy outside. I welcome it. I love this kind of weather when it's not super, super duper dangerous, but when it's raining outside, you got that rumble of thunder. It's just something about it that brings me back to Arkansas. But either way, We got some more weather coming our way that you might want to be aware about. Let's get meteorologist Chris Michaels in on the mix to figure out how our Tuesday forecast is looking as far as the rest of our week.
Happy Tuesday, guys. A warmer, sticky, and at times stormy pattern over the course of the next few days. Today, our storm's very isolated after 3 p.m., and though they're small, they could be strong. Our main event, that's actually going to come in from west to east Wednesday night into Thursday morning, hence that kind of heightened risk of severe weather that you see there in the yellow. Beyond that, turning cooler for Mother's Day. We'll walk you through each day, every day on the Sprint.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. Coming up after the break, we got more news of the day that will hopefully make you smile. For example, these big babies right here. How did they end up in that lady's front yard or backyard, actually? How do you even think to get these jokers off your lawn? We got the law enforcement that came in to help this woman remove these bulls from her household. But again, she played a role for them being there to begin with and has a warning for everybody else. We're going to talk about it after the break. Don't go anywhere. WSLS, The Sprint, continues in just a few minutes. Welcome back to The Sprint on this Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a great one so far. And guess what? It is National Teacher Appreciation Day, and it's actually National Teacher Appreciation Week, but it's celebrated on the Tuesday of the first full week of May. This year, this May 7th, former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt championed National Teacher Day back in 1953 as a way to honor teachers. Educators with the National Education Association solidified the date with a vote. Meanwhile, National Teacher Association established the entire first full week of May as the National Teacher Appreciation Week, and this gives you several days to say thank you to all your teachers for their dedication to educating us all. Like, this is a cool deal. Showing some love to our teachers out there because, again, you think of it when you're a kid sitting in the classroom. You don't understand how difficult of a job they have because you're just there, you're learning, you're excited, and you're just like, oh, I get to be with my friends, X, Y, and Z. Well, when you get older, you realize these people, they're literally in control of so many babies, so many new minds, and just having them, get educated, whether it's math, science, reading, whether it's some type of keeping their imagination alive, that's a beautiful thing. And that's a gift that you can have where you can relay information to the point where it sticks. I am all about it. So yeah, if you guys see your teacher or have a teacher or whatever, make sure you say thank you. Make sure you find ways to show that you appreciate them with an apple, with a Starbucks gift card, whatever you want. I will take a moment to say that I remember my favorite teacher in high school. I was in junior ROTC, Air Force, in Osceola, and I will say my favorite teacher by far was my colonel. He was Colonel Cooper, Colonel Stanley Cooper. And, he did so much for that program to make sure that kids, who didn't have many things to do outside of school, that we had different events all the time, parades, drill meets, it just stayed active at all times. And he did everything that he could to show people that, hey, you are better than what you think you are. Do your best at all times, and yes, that was a piece of the military in him that kind of, spread that over into us, but it was such a fun experience. It was so cool having that kind of discipline in high school and having that kind of motivation, something to look forward to every single day. I'm talking about football games and basketball games and color guards and stuff. So yeah, Colonel Stanley Cooper, shout out to you, man. He did it. He was a good man, good teacher, still a good man, a good teacher. But yeah, if you guys got a favorite teacher out there, make sure you drop it in the comment section. Give them a shout out so we can give them some love. Moving on. This is the story that we were talking about. Okay, so we're going to play the full thing. I think it's kind of funny because when I first saw it, I noticed that it was talking about how police, how all too often we've been seeing law enforcement step in to try to wrangle in an animal. Like, for example, yesterday we found out that the zebra that just disappeared, just went off from his little group. She got, recaptured again by police. Police had to step in and take care of that. You talk about, you see the videos of the turkeys chasing after a police officer down the street while he's trying to do a traffic stop. Well, here they were helping this homeowner get some bulls out of her yard. So this is over in Dallas. And she learned an important lesson, basically, to stop feeding them because she was feeding them bananas. And these bulls, they were just basically like, yo, man, you feeding, I'm coming no matter what. So we got the report right now. Matt Harthorn spoke with a neighbor about the experience, and here's that story.
I have gave him a banana once or twice.
Oh, there's another one too.
Yeah, it's 2 of them.
Bulls love bananas.
They remember that banana.
LaToya Keeling found that out the other night.
He'll come, he'll act like he eating the leaves, but he'll be looking into the house like, I know y'all home, come give me a banana, you know?
These 2 young bulls live in a pasture behind her Mansfield home.
That's the banana feeder.
And she's innocently been feeding them a banana here and there anytime she sees them. But Wednesday night,
I said, I know he didn't get up here.
she saw one of them where they weren't supposed to be.
He walked in the front window and peeked his eyeball in there. Like, yeah, I know y'all home. Like,
One of the bulls had pushed through the barbed wire fence and was trying to find LaToya. A harmless relationship suddenly went to the next level. So
he didn't know how to get back down, and I didn't know how to get him back down.
LaToya called a non-emergency line, and officers came to break up this love of bulls story.
The one with the curly hair, he's the aggressive one. He was nudging him.
But the officers did their job, successfully leading the bull back to its pasture.
All right, buddy.
The fence going to be rebuilt, and LaToya
Don't feed young bulls bananas. They're like cats. They'll come back.
probably gonna dial back on feeding time.
All right, man. I think that story is funny. Let's get Jazzy Jazz in on the action. Hey, Jazz, when you see that story, you know, it's always cool that when you can have fun stories like that, just to show just the human side of law enforcement, but also, who knew that bulls like eating bananas?
That's the first time that I was hearing about it. But I just love hearing like little funny stories like that because I feel like we have so much negative news that really can just weigh you down, and we of all people understand that. So seeing these lighthearted stories, people with a sense of humor it's really nice to see. And honestly, I found it really funny. I found it funny that she knew which one was aggressive and which one wasn't, and the fact that she gave them bananas. Like I just think it's funny.
Yes.
I did not know that they even like bananas.
Yes,
like,
I know.
do every day. So.
Like, you know, it reminds me of those little school books that we used to read. Like, if you give a pig a pancake, and now if you get a bull a banana. Fun stuff like that. You know, and speaking of positive stories, Jazz, this one right here makes your heart stop. The one where the pastor almost shot. You know, I know this video was going around, but when you first saw this, you know, like, come on now, this just doesn't happen every day.
It gave me chills, and I'm glad that someone was able to step in and save this man's life because it could have been a disastrous situation. So I'm glad that it unfolded in the way that it did. It gave me chills just to watch it and see, like, just the matter of quickness that the other person had to act in order to get this person down and tackle them down and wrestle them down and get the gun out of their hands. So I'm glad that everything unfolded well and everything was prevented from escalating into a very, very dangerous situation because we report from things like this so often.
Right.
So I'm glad that no one was seriously hurt, and again, it's a miracle that man was stopped. It's like it's no telling what was even going through his head.
Right.
What possessed him to even want to do something like that. But I'm glad that it was de-escalated.
Yeah, no, 100% no. And like I said, I think there's just something goes into that mental health. You know, we just need to make sure those resources are available. And again, thank God that nothing awful happened in that church setting. Again, I don't know the connection between the dead body that was found in his house, but I hope that this serves as some type of chance for him to turn his life around and understand that it's not worth it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, I'm glad that things are able to get de-escalated, and I'm glad that it was prevented. Because you know that that could have been an absolute disaster, and I hate reporting on tragedies like that. So I'm glad that happened the way they did, so that a life can be saved.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully the man who did it, hopefully his life can be saved as far as the direction that he's going in.
Amen. So. Yeah. So, Jazz, switching gears now. Do you have a favorite teacher?
That's a really, really good question. I just feel like a lot of teachers have had a really significant impact on me. I remember my teacher in college, and I was always a very ambitious student since I was little. Like, since I was a young girl, I was always striving to get the best grades in class and go above and beyond. And I remember I went through a very, very difficult time in college, and it was like I was getting hit with a lot of different trials and challenges all at once, so my drive wasn't there. and I wasn't used to that. And I remember my teacher, he gave me so much grace and patience, and he didn't come down hard on me. And he gave me the room to kind of embrace what I was going through and not be hard on myself or get mad at myself for what I was going through. And I really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson. So I think, like, just looking back on that, I think that was a teacher that had a very significant impact on me, because I feel like I've had such a academic career where I'm so used to thriving, but the one time where I was feeling like very challenged with life in general gave me grace. And I think that really impacted me because just that patience.
Yeah.
That just being able to be there for someone, not even directly, but just be there for someone, give them grace when they're going through such a difficult time. It really does mean a lot. So,
Amen. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, no, I was talking about how my high school teacher, basically Colonel Cooper for junior ROTC, definitely he made a big difference because, again, there was that discipline and that fun and that motivation to always just keep being your best and being very patriotic and understanding, the beauty of our country despite the negatives that we do have, So it's stuff like that. But like you mentioned, every teacher that we have all have had some type of impact in our lives. So where, we could just, if I could say thank you and deliver an apple to every single one of them, I would 100% do so.
Yes, I know. Teachers are incredible, and I don't think they get enough credit for how much they do. I don't think it's a teacher that I've ever forgotten, and every single one has had an impact on me. So they definitely deserve credit, not just today, but every single day.
Amen.
They truly build young minds and shape them. So.
Yes. All right, Jazz. Thank you so much, girlie.
All right.
Have a good one. Yeah, guys, again, if you got a favorite teacher out there, make sure you just, give them a shout out. And even just teachers in general. If you know somebody who is in the education system, the challenges that they're faced with and what they're dealing with, say thank you. Show them that you appreciate them for everything they do, and I guarantee you it will go a long way. And then you remember that saying, all heroes don't wear capes? Yeah, they are some of the best in our country. And granted, there are some little jacked up ones out there. I'm not trying to give everybody the flowers, but people who are in the industry for the right reason, doing the right things, and definitely have an impact on students. You guys deserve everything in the world and back. So thank you so much for joining us on National Teacher Appreciation Day. Again, find a way in your heart throughout the rest of this week to show thanks to those leaders in our community and our education system. And thank you guys so much for joining us today again on The Sprint, coming over the stories that you guys want to talk about, things that are making you laugh, things that are keeping the conversation going in your household. And again, taking that break from that heavy news cycle that sometimes can be very, very annoying. Guys, we'll be back here tomorrow, 9. We'll see you guys in the afternoon and the evening at 12:30 and 6:30, WSLS.com on The Sprint.